welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we are going to do something fun, and that is get the purple car on the dyno. So I have had a few issues with this car since I put it together. I actually just got done putting a thermostat in the car because the thermostat that was in here was a reused, just a reused thermostat, and the lower hose was not getting cold and the car was getting up to like 205, 210. Literally the same exact problem that we just had with the Wago over there. So I went and got a new thermostat, and what I did to this thermostat, just because this is going to be like a race car, I actually took a pretty small drill bit and I just drilled a little hole in the thermostat. So on this thermostat stock, they have a little check valve deal, so like a little coolant can bypass through here, but sometimes it's not enough, and the thermostat, if they're lazy or they're sticky at all, it will not actually get enough coolant flow to open the thermostat, kind of thing. I think is just my what I've come up with. So what I do is I just take a little drill bit. So like this is the drill bit that I used. I don't know exactly what size it is. Just something kind of small, about the same size as this hole that's already here. And I just pop two little holes in the thermostat on the one that is in the purple car. And I also did it to the Wago as well, and haven't had any overheating issues since. So like I said, it's just a little peace of mind to do that and make sure that you have proper coolant flow. With those holes in there, it will flow no matter what through the thermostat, but yet still have the operation of the thermostat to open and close normally at temperature. So I did that. I rebled the system, and now the car is not running hot at all, and it's running pretty good. It's just on a base map right now, and the air fuel is probably all over the frickin' place. I have the Snake Eater 2200cc injectors in here, and I also put a fuel pressure gauge on it, and I set my base pressure kind of low because the injectors, since they're such a large injector, they will actually run better at idle and cruise if you have a less amount of fuel pressure, because that'll actually make the injector work harder, versus if you have a lot of fuel pressure, the injector barely works at all at idle and like low throttle. Right. I do also have to get a new wideband for this car, because the wideband that is in here is an older AEM 4.2, and I think the gauge itself is actually going bad, because the gauge will actually like bounce around a lot. Like if you're at a steady state cruising or whatever, it will go all over the place, freak out. And I verified that the sensor is good and the dyno wideband works properly. So that's all we're going to tune it with, is just use the wideband from the dyno and get just a base tune on this thing and make sure everything's working. I was actually going to show you guys how to wire VTEC on a non-VTEC ECU, but I ended up getting some more VTEC kits from Jason Waters Tuning, and I installed the VTEC into the ECU, which is the proper way to do it, and I feel it works better. But you can use a non-VTEC ECU if you run the ground circuit off of like air conditioning switch or whatever to a relay to trigger a power source to the solenoid. So that's pretty much what you would have to do if you were not running VTEC ECU. And like I said, I was going to do that with this car, but I decided not to and just wired it the normal way. Alright guys, so it's been almost a week now since I filmed. We've just been super busy out at the shop, and we had some complications with the purple car. As you guys can see, I actually have it loaded up back onto the dyno now, and I'm going to try some things with the car to actually get it to work a little bit better. I do believe we are having some injector issues. I don't have the right data for these Snake Eater 2200s, and just to alleviate some issues, I'm actually just going to throw a set of Hunter Tuned Flex style injectors into here. We're going to be a little bit limited on power capability, but I want to at least just make sure the car is good and everything like that. So I have a tune already that was in the red EK that we can kind of put into this thing and see how it's running. But the issues that the car is having is at like light throttle and even sometimes under load, the car will completely just like shut off and just kind of die. and misfire and stuff like that. And I checked the distributor. We don't have any issues with that. So I'm just gonna try a set of injectors and see if we can get it to clear up a little bit. And then we'll just have to swap to a different set of injectors. I wanna run the Snake Eater 1500s instead of the 2200s. That was the original goal with the car. But the 1500s I did have an issue with that we are getting resolved. So I actually clamped them down too tight and whatnot. So anyways, the last couple days we have been out at the shop just busting ass. We've been getting a lot of stuff down out here. As you can see, I have an Acura TL behind me with the subframe on the ground because I have to do a clutch on this thing. And we also worked on Trevor's truck this week too, which I'll show you a clip here in a second. But we got the clutch out of this Acura TL, and I did kind of maybe want to ask some of your guys' opinions on the dual mass flywheel. This is just a bone stock car, you know, daily driver type of thing. There's no mods. We're just going to keep it factory. And we actually have a brand new dual mass flywheel on the way and a brand new clutch. Same stuff that came out of it. But the problem that this car was having is you would let the clutch out and go to accelerate and it would slip, obviously. But the more throttle you gave it, it kind of like picked up and started moving a little bit better. And the clutch has been slipping for a long time on this car. But the clutch actually appears to be good yet. It doesn't actually look that bad. I mean, it is glazed over a little bit, but it's not smoked by any means. The pressure plate is all discolored and stuff, but I don't know how the flywheels are. As you guys can see, this has like movement in it. I think that's typical, and you know, they're supposed to do that. But I don't know if the flywheel itself can fail, causing these issues, or maybe if it was just a pressure plate failure, just not having enough clamping force down on the clutch disc. So like I said, we're just gonna get all new parts for it and put it in. Yeah, these things are not the funnest to do a transmission on. So, I mean, I really don't recommend working on one of these things because they kind of suck, but I'm helping somebody out and getting it running good. So you have to pull the subframe. It's big 4 bolts around the outside, and then you have the steering shaft that connects. You know, you got to disconnect the A-arms and all that suspension stuff, tie rods, to pull all that down, and then you can get at the transmission. So that sucks. All the exhaust is off of that thing. And we're out here doing Trevor's truck, which we do have a couple clips to show you guys of that. We had struggled with that for a few days because the exhaust manifold bolts were like broken off on the manifolds, and then we had to swap new manifolds onto it, and then we built a whole custom exhaust for it and then put it on the dyno. So Trevor's truck is now running really good. He's pretty stoked about that, but it definitely was a little bit more of a time-consuming thing than I figured it was going to be.
It smells like tires. It smells like tires. Oh, she picked up, Pop. 223.
Oh yeah, how much more?
277.
That's not bad.
Not bad, Pop. Look at that power curve. She picked up a lot in the lower range. Unless you just punched it, I don't know. She picked up all over the place.
Right. Honestly, if we kept fucking with it, I could probably make 240. That was just one change.
Yeah.
Man. Like I said, I could probably make more with it, but you got to get home to your wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Edelbrock exhaust systems. Oh, yeah. More like Hunter Tune Customs.
Right. And we also have more parts coming in for the wagon, the one that you guys just saw in the last video. He's actually going with some good parts, and we're gonna hopefully get this thing dialed. I'm very happy that we got the right parts coming for it, and gonna make this thing rip again. But anyways, back to the purple car, guys. I'm actually gonna just swap in the flex style injectors real quick. It has the same EV6 connector. I have EV6 down there, with top hats. And the way that this fuel rail on this intake is set up, I'm actually going to run the flex style injectors without the top hats, and I'm just going to double up the top O-ring and clamp them down. Because like I said, I actually had a set of flex styles in this, and I went 1080s with just the flex style injectors, but I want something a little bit bigger to go like 9s or faster. That's the goal. But first we got to get the damn thing running right, so like I said, without further ado, I'm going to swap in the new flex style injectors, and then we'll pick up after those are in. All right guys, so the Civic is all strapped down onto the dyno. I got the flex style Hunter tuned injectors in it now. And let me just tell you guys, it runs a lot smoother with the smaller injector. That's kind of how it's going to be anyways, no matter what injector I put in it. If you put a really large injector on a small engine, it's not going to want to run very well. So anyways, these are a little bit smaller injector. We're going to be limited on power a little bit, but at least we'll be able to work any bugs out of the car. I know when we did have it on the dyno a couple days ago, the boost controller was also giving me issues. So we're gonna at least just see if we can maybe make some baseline runs with this thing and see if everything's gonna hold up. I mean, it's been a long time coming for this car, and I really just wanna shake it down. So that's what we're gonna do, and hopefully make some sort of good power with it. Yeah, and hopefully everything's gonna work. So she's strapped down. I'm going to check this thing out. I actually just threw in my old tune off of my red EK. And yeah, we're just gonna, she starts up and runs smooth as butter. Under 95 degrees, good voltage. I did have some TPS issues with this thing as well. The TPS wasn't actually reading any percentage until I would hit like 10% or so. So I recalibrated it through the on data, and now the car's not cutting out because it was having some like cutting out issues too. But we got the wideband on the dyno working. We were having issues with the wideband before, but I got a new sensor for it. And I think a lot of the wideband issue was just the injectors causing the air fuel to read all crazy. But yeah. So Trevor's gonna sync the RPM on the dyno for me.
Yeah. 2040, 2040. I mean, it's literally all over the place.
Because that pump was fucking making noise.
Because that sounds like fuel cut to me.
Because I got in.
Yeah, that's like, in my opinion, when we first did it, I was like, that, I don't know, man. Like, boost cut and fuel cut kind of sound different to me, but
probably was just fucking fuel cutting.
it like 6 times the VTEC, get it quick. Well, at least not getting cut, so.
Right.
How much boost?
Okay, so you see where VTEC's gotta go?
Yeah. £8. Seems a little
10
low.
to air fuel.
Yeah, a little rich there, pup. Keep it conservative.
Right. Alright, so this next pass, I'm going to turn VTEC on and like maybe lean out before VTEC a little bit, but that's it. That's all I'm gonna do.
Okay. Baby.
And it was pink all the way rich.
Making money moves right here, son.
203. Okay, so now I'm going to pull some fuel out of it because it was like coughing on fuel.
Yeah. That was like 10.5.
Well, I think it was even richer than that.
Think so?
Yeah. I'm gonna go look at that quick with this.
Oh, right. What happened over here?
You see how fucked up that line is?
Yeah.
That's because it's just choking on fuel.
Might want to change the color so you can see it. Okay. Cutting that 10% out, you know? Yeah. 222.
Okay, so now we're actually getting a power curve out of it. A lot smoother of a curve. Now that the fuel is getting straightened out. Let's see what the air fuel is there. Up. 11.5, 11.5, 11.5. 11.4, 11.2. So the air fuel looks pretty good. I could probably pull a little bit more out of it and make more power on gate, which is like 7-8 pounds. But so far so good. You guys got to remember that this is a short stroke, pretty much B16 setup. It's got B16 rods, Type R pistons. I feel like it should make more than that on 8 pounds though.
Yeah, I feel like it should.
Especially with it being high compression. All right, guys, so I did some pulls off camera and definitely picked up a lot of power. I almost forgot that this thing has a Type R cam in it, or Type R cams, and the last couple setups I've ran in my red car, which is what this tune was pretty much for, is I had either B16 or GSR cams in, but man, these Type R cams, man, they just love RPM, let me tell you. All I did was really just get the fuel straightened out and rev the motor a little bit higher, and we are making jam, guys. Currently sitting at 310 horsepower and 200 foot-pounds of torque, and I spun it to like 85-ish, 100. But as you guys can see on like the previous pulls, where it wasn't making that much power, I wasn't spinning it high at all. And this pull right here, I didn't have a whole lot of timing in it. So you can see where it's like, you know, it is wavy. Air fuel and boost was consistent, but the waviness was pretty much just from me being too conservative on the ignition timing, which is always good to start off. And then I added some timing in, and you can see right where the cams start to wake up. So the next pull, that was 290 horsepower, and all I did on the next pull was literally just rev it out a little bit higher, and the graph smoothened out, and everything just starting to work really good. The torque is super flat up top. This thing is just gonna want a lot of RPM. So hopefully these $120 rods on eBay last. You guys know that the rods in this motor were 120 bucks. In the ad, the eBay listing said, do not rev over 7,000 RPM. Well, we've already exceeded that, and they haven't came out of the oil pan or the block yet. So I'm probably just gonna do like one more and call it a day for now, because I'm out here by myself. So I wanna at least get one more good pull in on wastegate, and we're gonna park it. So also the air fuel on that pull was kinda lean. Like 12.0 air fuel, which I should be a little bit richer than that. And I do have to move my VTEC down a little bit. Currently I have VTEC set at 4,800, and you guys can see this little jump right here where it kind of jumps up like that. That's just telling me that the VTEC is too high currently. So I'm just gonna have to lower it down a little bit to get rid of that. So that's what I'm gonna do on this next one. I spun it to like 84. I gotta stay in it a little longer. Let's see what it did. 336 on gate. This is on wastegate, guys. Less than 10 pounds of boost. Actually, no, it is creeping a little on the top end. That was about 11 pounds of boost that made that 336. So, nonetheless though, we are looking good. I gotta splash some frickin' fuel in this thing though. That time I did put some fuel back in it, and it did lose a little bit of power, which was kind of to be expected. I was being really kind of aggressive on the fuel on the pass that it made 336, but that one still made 331 and 212 torque. We only lost a couple horsepower for a little bit of safety. So that is really cool. That, let me get rid of this old one here. Yeah, we're 11.5 air fuel now instead of 12.0. So, looking really good. I still gotta move VTEC. I didn't do that yet. I'm gonna do that right now. And then I'm still only spinning the car like 85, 8,600. I really need to keep going a little bit just to kind of see where this power band's gonna quit. But man, this thing is just a screamer. Like, certified ripper. Crazy, literally. Like, and in the pull, the oil pressure gauge is like 120 PSI oil pressure. So ACL pump's doing good. The rods might hack together shit. The thing is too, is this motor is, I ground the counterweights on the crank. Like, did a lot of sketchy shit. And for it to be spinning this kind of RPM and making this good of power just makes me so happy. And like I said, it's a CTR piston. I would assume this motor is like 12 to 1. 12-ish to 1. So it's very high compression. That's why it makes this great power. That's why I hate people that want to run low compression. Like, why? Why not run high compression and turbo? As long as you got good quality fuel, like E85 or better, don't run pump gas on something like this, then you'll blow it up. But E85 just is so amazing, so amazing. And I'm gonna leave the fuel where it is. I'm gonna lower VTEC and maybe spin it up one more run, and then we'll be good. That's crazy great power on wastegate pressure. Nothing in the overflow. I was just checking the overflow to make sure we don't have any coolant pushing out, and we don't. RPM that pass, and it made 350, baby. 350 wheel on wastegate, guys. 8,700 RPM. It's kind of overlaying what it's doing every pass, which is good. Let me just tell you guys, I've been stressed as fuck lately, and getting this thing done and on the dyno has been like something that I've wanted to do for myself for a while. And I've been putting it off because I've just been so freaking busy. And yeah, it's super hard keeping up with everything and managing all this. It's absolutely insane how much support and love that I've gotten on the website and on Facebook and everything like that. I thank you guys so much for all the support. It's just been a rough battle for me the last like couple weeks, just keeping my head straight. And getting this thing together really kind of made my night. We had a lot of issues with it, but we worked through them and getting her done. My problem is I overload myself with work, and I want to live my own life as well. So it's hard to balance all this, having a shop and everything, and still be able to like live my life. It's super hard actually, and it's taking a toll on me. Really, it is. But I'm just gonna keep pushing as hard as I fucking can and keep on grinding as much as I can. Today's Sunday. That's why I'm working on this. I feel like Jesus Day is also my day to have fun with my own stuff. I have a Del Sol outside right now that we need to work on. This TL needs to get out of here. I put a transmission in my truck this week. We fixed T-Bag's truck. I filled like 20 orders on the website yesterday alone. Insane in the membrane is an understatement. But this thing is just a ripper. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And I want to be making some more videos on this car. I'm going to be making more videos this week. I want to get back to my old self, honestly. I feel like I've become nothing but a businessman lately, and which is good in a sense, but it's also not really what I enjoy 100%. I want to have fun. And the more you make this a job in a business, I feel the more stressful it gets, and the more Yeah. I've just been stressed as fuck. I don't know what else to say, guys. I've just been overloaded, and I'm working on it. I'm working on balancing myself a little bit better, getting stuff out of my head and onto paper. I feel like is a big thing to help out with stuff, and yeah, cray. Man, thing rips.